Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ravens flock. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. I've got some Ravens news today. It's nice to talk about the Ravens, you know. I've been doing nothing but talking about the NBA. The playoffs just kicked off, so I've been doing nothing but focusing on the Miami Heat. But I gotta talk about my football team. You know, I'm still a Ravens fan, so I got to talk about my Ravens. And today, we've got some news that could be sombering for some, could be happy for others, and could just be stagnant for most, because I'm not exactly sure what anyone was expecting from this situation. So, you guys remember Miles Boykin? You know, Miles Boykin. We thought he'd work out. His route running was an issue. Thought he would improve. Didn't really get to see much from him. Then he suffered an injury. And he came back and he was not utilized. He was just kind of out of the receiving lineup. Well, the Ravens have officially released Miles Boykin. They tried to trade him, but it's tough to get a market for a guy that hasn't done much in his career and is coming off of a year where he suffered an injury, came back and produced nothing for them because he wasn't even in the rotation. So yeah, I mean, other than him playing special teams, there was nothing he was bringing to the table in our receiving corps last year. They weren't even utilizing him. So, yeah, they tried to trade him for a draft pick. They can get maybe a 6th round draft pick, but they couldn't get anything. They tried, but they couldn't get a draft pick for him, so they just released him. I believe by releasing him, they saved $2.54 million in the cap space, so that's good for them. But yeah, you know, Miles Boykin's time in Baltimore has come to an end. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, him and Hollywood came together in that 2019 draft, and, you know, we had high hopes for him to be that big-bodied receiver, but he just never got into that role. There were times where he wasn't catching the ball, though, you know, he has really good hands. I'll say that. He's got really good hands, but, you know, there were times where he wasn't catching the ball. There were times where he wasn't making plays. There were times where he wasn't in sync with Lamar Jackson, which was showing up early on during the first half of the 2020 season, which we talked about. But his biggest issue, I'll say, that we saw from him was his route running. That was something that needed to be improved on. And I'll say in some cases he improved on his route running, but it wasn't where we needed it to be. Now, had he not suffered his injury and got to work out with, you know, our guys here in T. Martin and Keith Williams, how would he have looked? Interesting. But yeah, it's unfortunate. He's gone. He's gone. They've released him. I wish Miles Boykin the best of luck wherever he will go. It's unfortunate it didn't work out in Baltimore, but with us, you know, getting Rashad Bateman here now, you kind of got the big-bodied receiver you're looking for, or at least your young receiver, you know, the one that we wanted to draft. You got that guy in Bateman, so Boykin's spot's pretty much taken at this point, so he wasn't really going to contribute anything to the receiving corps, and it's not like he was the most, you know, it's not like he was, you know, standing out in the special teams like Devin Duvernay. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but his time in Baltimore comes to an end. So with that being said, what happens now? You know, Sammy Watkins, gone, signed a 1-year deal somewhere else. You just released Miles Boykin. What happens with the receiving room now? Because now you just lost 2 guys in that depth. You know, you don't have many receivers left on the roster that you can really utilize for the most part. So what happens there? Well, it depends. Some believe they could potentially go out and trade for a guy. I've seen people say Deebo Samuel because it seems the whole situation in San Francisco is not going well. I've seen a lot of people say go get DK Metcalf, especially because Lamar was on Twitter advocating for it. He had a tweet about it. Hey, come to Baltimore, man. Which, you know, would be nice if DK come here. It would also be nice if Deebo Samuel come here. So we've seen a couple names being linked to Baltimore potentially going out and getting that guy, but I'm not sure if that's going to come to fruition. There's also the draft. Could the Ravens look to draft the receiver in one of the later rounds? It's possible. I'm thinking they're more so going to go for a tight end in the later rounds in the draft than the receiver, because they've always wanted to have 3 tight ends together. You know, you've already got arguably the best tight end in the game in Mark Andrews. You got back Nick Boyle. You want to get that third person that can be there. We've been looking for that ever since we lost Hayden Hurst. So they probably will get a tight end in the later rounds of the draft. I don't expect them to draft the receiver, but we'll see. So if they don't draft the receiver and they're not able to trade for one or sign one in free agency, what happens? Well, I think it's a possibility that they don't do that and they instead stick with their guys. That may mean that they've seen enough from those 2 individuals to give them a bigger role. Which 2 individuals I'm talking about? Well, of course, I'm talking about Devin Duvernay and James Crochet. Devin Duvernay You know, he didn't get to play much of a role in our receiving game last year, but he did have his spurts and he did have his moments. I still remember the touchdown he caught against the Vikings. It was nice. So he had his moments. Also, the touchdown he had against the Lions, that was also great. But yeah, he's had his moments last year, and maybe they're looking to give him a little bit of a bigger role, especially now that he's a Pro Bowl punt returner. You know, he's a Pro Bowl returner. He made the Pro Bowl last year, so they may be looking to get him more involved. This is a guy that they could utilize in the run game. Why wouldn't they want to get the ball in his hands? He's got elite speed, man. He's got elite speed, and they can use him all around the field. You know, we've been trying to say for a while, try to use him similar to Deebo Samuel. I'm not saying he's Deebo Samuel, but I'm just saying you can use him like that. You can use him in the run and pass game, and he's a part of your return game. So he's great on special teams. You can use him in the run game, and, you know, he's still a receiver at the end of the day. So obviously using him in the pass game could be great. With with Sammy Watkins being gone now, as well as Miles Boykin, that means an increased role for Devin Duvernay. But for me, mostly what I'm excited about, if they choose not to get another receiver, I'm most excited for the increased role that James Crochet can get, because Crochet is a guy I've been advocating for a while. I believe he has the best hands on the team. I believe 100% he has the best hands on the team. He's had moments where he's looked great. I just feel he needs to get more opportunities, and he needs to get a bigger role for us to show what he can do. And I feel that if the Ravens don't go after a receiver in the later rounds of the draft, or they don't try and trade for a guy, then that means Crochet may get more opportunities here, which I'm excited to see, you know, because this is a guy that definitely deserves it. He's got the best hands on the team. He continues to work hard. Him and Lamar Jackson have actually been working out in the offseason, you know. Lamar has been working out with both Rashad Bateman. He's worked out with Crochet. It's nice. So he's building that chemistry there. And with your big four of the receiving core of Hollywood Brown, Rashad Bateman, Devin Duvernay, and James Crochet now, I think that's a solid receiving core. We can work with that. I would believe we could work with that, because Devin Duvernay's got great hands. Rashad Bateman's got great hands. James Crochet's got great hands, and Hollywood's still working on his hands, but we know what he brings to the table as a deep threat. So I think those four could be your main core, and if you want to bring anyone, and you want to use one of your later guys in that 5th or 6th receiving spot, it's fine. But again, they would like to really have 4 or 5 receivers and 3 tight ends. I think that's what they would want to work with for the most part. So losing out on Sammy Watkins, which I knew he wasn't going to come back. I knew he wasn't going to come back at all. I was not surprised to see that. But yeah, him going off and signing a deal, good for him. Best of luck there. And then now releasing Miles Boykin, we knew he didn't have a role left. So with these two gone, I think that means this is a chance for both Duvernay and Crochet to get a bigger role in our offense, to get those more opportunities that they deserve, and to showcase what they can really do, especially when it comes to Crochet. So I'm interested to see how this goes. Will the Ravens draft a receiver? We'll find out. Draft's coming up in about 2 weeks. Actually, it's less than 2 weeks now, so it's coming up soon. Cannot wait for the draft. Will they trade for one? Who knows? DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, will they pull it off? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But, you know, we'll just see how it goes, you know. It is what it is at the end of the day. Once again, farewell to Miles Boykin. It sucks that it didn't work out here, but I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. With that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here. Peace.